The human race has evolved significantly over the past, and it's not just the people.
First came the wheel, then came the roar of the engine. Automobiles have been in the picture since the 19th century. Ever since Carl Benz invented the single-cylinder car, we've seen various changes go in the automobile sector, showing just how important they are in our lives.
On the occasion of the World Automobile Day, allow us the pleasure to take you on a very special journey on cars, on bikes, on just about anything that burns some serious rubber.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of WION Pitstop.
Alright then, first up is the Power Bulletin, where we bring you the latest auto news from across the globe.
The much-awaited Ignis was launched in India at a base price of Rs 4.9 lakhs after debuting at the 2016 Delhi Auto Expo. Maruti says that it's a car for the millennials. Well, I think the design elements of the car do reflect that Maruti has actually put in a lot of thought behind this car. Interestingly, the car also has some SUV-like characteristics such as high ground clearance, a bolder stance and solid shoulder lines. But the standout features of the car are the LED projector headlamps that are integrated into the grille with U-shaped LED daytime running lights. The car is available with a 1.2-litre K-series engine and a 1.3-litre engine for the diesel variant. Now, Maruti has clearly said that Ignis will be available only through the Nexa dealerships, and it is based on a new generation platform, which sends across a strong message from Maruti that it is looking to play it big in the premier compact car segment.
But Satya, have you heard what they say about big things and small openings?
Oh, I cannot disagree more, seriously.
Yes, true. Well, especially in the case of Tata Hexa, which had one of the biggest launches this year and saw about 3,000 bookings prior to its launch.
After the success of Tiago, Tata has stepped up their game with the launch of the all-new 7-seater SUV. In fact, the new Hexa will now pit against the likes of Mahindra XUV 500 and the Toyota Innova Crista. The Hexa has been on Tata's drawing board for a long time now, and the company has definitely given it their all, especially with the overalls. WION Pitstop, Sumit spoke to Mayank Parikh, President Tata Motors, to actually know what went into the making of the car.
It's a completely new car. It's based on our new design philosophy, which we call as impact philosophy. Impact philosophy actually literally translates into almost love at first sight. You see and you say, oh my God, what a car. It has got huge bold lines, exteriors are strong, interiors if you see are very plush. It has got all possible safety features, it's got awesome music system. I can keep on going actually.
Designed on an Aria platform, Hexa comes with a 2.2 Varicore diesel engine and hydraulic power assisted steering. Transmission options include a 6-speed manual gearbox and a 6-speed automatic unit. Interiors of the car don't disappoint either, with features like ambient mood lighting and a touchscreen infotainment system complete with 10 JBL speakers. With a starting price of Rs 1.2 million and a total of 6 variants, the Hexa seems to have whatever it takes to bring the best product to the customer.
The Chinese electric vehicle startup company Faraday Future showed off its most technologically advanced prototype in Las Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show 2017. The FF91, described by its designers as weird pretty, is a luxury futuristic electric SUV with a roomy interior. The car has no handles, and the doors open as a driver approaches it. Holograms will be projected on the windshield to alert drivers of needed information.
A car that drives you, a car that parks itself, an intelligent entity that opens doors, adjusts the temperature, loads your music or your movies or your email, all the things that you never thought a car could do. Because when we look into the future, we don't see a car or an SUV or even an EV. We see a whole new species, a species that signals a pivotal shift in not just the automotive industry, but across multiple technical industries. And we'll call the first of this new species the FF91.
The car will come equipped with a package of sensors, including cameras, radar, and LiDAR, to enable self-driving capability. According to the Faraday executives, the car will have a range of about 608 kilometers per charge. Its electric motors will generate a combined 1,050 horsepower.
If maximizing electric performance is an art, then our masterpiece is a 0 to 60 time that puts the FF91 on the winning side of arguments with the world's greatest hypercars.
The car is set to go into production early 2018. The FF91 is set to be priced at around $180,000 US, and advanced reservations for the car are being taken in for $5,000.
Well, from the looks of it, fantastic times ahead for automobiles.
That certainly seems to be true. But before we move into our next segment, let's slip into a short break.
Just getting going now on the Boot International track in New Delhi here, just coming out of the pits, and we're about to get on track and see how this Mercedes AMG feels. I can just feel every single one of those horses pushing through as we hit one of the main straights here at the Boot International Circuit in New Delhi.
Let's now switch gears and rev up some pace as we move on to our next segment, Spec Check. Now in this segment, we have WION's very own Jeremy Clarkson testing the all-new Mercedes AMG C43 in India's only F1 track.
We're here at the Boot International Circuit just outside New Delhi. Back in 2013, when Formula One last came into town, this was Sebastian Vettel's pit. But today we're here to check out the new Mercedes AMG C43 4MATIC. Let's go take a look. Mercedes-Benz has expanded its portfolio of AMG cars in India with the launch of the new AMG C43. When it comes to looks, the all-new C43 is identical to the standard C-Class sedan and also sits below the AMG C63 Coupe in terms of performance. But on the plus side, it has four-wheel drive and a brand new 9-speed automatic gearbox. All right, I'm sitting on the bonnet, and underneath that bonnet is that 3-litre Mercedes AMG engine. And that's what gives it the power to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.7 seconds. In terms of the styling, well, you've got these heavy, masculine lines, classic Mercedes look on the front, and then alongside you've got these nice detailed lines, which also give it that luxury yet sporty look.
The C43, I mean, it's the addition, the entry model into a world of AMGs. And so we are really happy that we can offer our customers this entry proposition, but at the same time also the top of the lines, which are really hardcore sports models.
But is it really a sports car? we decided to put that to the test on India's only F1 track. Just getting going now on the Bulletin International track in New Delhi here, just coming out of the pits, and we're about to get on track and see how this Mercedes AMG feels. I can just feel every single one of those horses pushing through as we hit one of the main straights here at the Bulletin International Circuit in New Delhi. In terms of styling, the car has 5-spoke 18-inch AMG wheels, and the front bumper has an aggressive apron along with a splitter. The diamond pattern grille has a discreet 3-pointed star AMG badge, plus the curvy tail lamps on the back and the LED headlights also add a bit of character to the look of the car. From the outside it looks sporty, but it's got the 4 doors, you know, it's an executive car. You can see a banker or maybe a lawyer driving this car, but I tell you, when you're driving it, you feel like you're in a little sort of 2-seater sports car. It just feels so sporty, so quick, so responsive in the corners. It's absolutely fantastic. What I'm really interested to see is how that 4-wheel drive keeps it nice and sort of tidy as you come into the corners. We're into the home straight now. Normally you see the fans sitting in there. I've got my pedal to the metal, trying to keep up with the instructor car ahead of me as we flash past the pits on the main straight here. The Germans have a word for wonderful, they say wunderbar, and I have to say this Mercedes AMG is really making me feel like that right now. We're finishing up here at the Bulletin International Circuit just outside New Delhi. We've taken the car out on track and put it through its paces. We've also talked you through some of the different specs of the car, but it's now up to you to decide if it's worth that $110,000 price tag for a luxury car with a little bit of Formula One.
Looks like Giles had some serious fun out there with the Merc.
Well, fast cars on F1 tracks.
No better way to follow the checkout flag, huh?
That's true. Well, I don't know about you, but I could definitely do with a break.
Well, hold on to your break while we come back from a very short commercial break.
And if you're still wondering where I am and what I'm doing, fasten your seatbelts because I'll be taking you on a journey along with Tarun about the history of Indian transportation.
The world as we know it is changing very fast every day. In fact, with so much of advancement in science and technology every single day of our lives, sometimes it feels good to stop and look back at our past creations. And that's why we have the Vintage Corner. We take you through some riveting trips down the memory lane. In this digital age where everything from a car to a toothbrush is fully automated, our friend Sejal meets someone who loves his automobiles, which are literally more than 100 years old.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of old cars, dilapidated trucks or rickety scooters? Is it the discomfort? Is it noisy engines? Or is it just a bunch of old metalwork rotting away in a scrapyard? Well, not if you're Tarun Thakral.
The 51-year-old entrepreneur decided to take his passion for collecting vintage automobiles to the next level when he built India's first and only transport heritage museum in Gurgaon. Spread across 90,000 square feet, the museum has 4 floors, housing exhibits from vintage cars to pre-mechanized transports.
if you're still wondering where I am and what I'm doing, fasten your seatbelts because I'll be taking you on a journey along with Tarun about the history of Indian transportation. This place is truly fascinating. It embodies the love a man has for his machines. For someone like you who's so obsessed with automobiles, especially that are from a whole different generation, how do you describe the emotional connection that you have with automobiles?
I was out of the country for a few years. So there was nothing per se that I was interested in automobiles. When I came back, I started developing this interest in older things. So I started collecting old lamps, old oil lamps, old gramophone players, old radios. Suddenly I came across one ramshackle car, a 1932 Chevy in Rajasthan. Something in me, kicked an interest in me, and I bought this to Delhi and started restoring it. It took me about 2 years to completely restore that car and put it back on the roads, as though you've given life to somebody, So that feeling, I think, triggered something in me, and that started a collection of vehicles.
The museum has several lithographs, rare albumen prints, old postcards and books on the modes of transportation in India. It even has vintage vehicle advertisements from old Indian newspapers and magazines.
From collecting stamps on Indian transportation to restoring the Fiat Padmini in 1980 or the Ambassador, you've preserved a large part of the Indian automobile heritage. How well did you enjoy this process?
I love collecting, okay? I love discovering. It's like a discovery. Whenever you go to old towns, smaller towns, you find something unique about India, about India's transport heritage, you like to acquire it. Cars is one section of it. So whether you see an Ambassador or an old scooter with sidecar, or a Fiat, or a Badal for that matter, or a Standard Herald, you wanted to just get them.
Each automobile here has its own story to tell. Can you take us through some of your most prized possessions, like the J3C Piper Cub aircraft that was actually used to train pilots for World War II?
There was this auction by the UP government, Ministry of Civil Aviation in Lucknow, for the Piper aircraft, although it didn't have the flying license because that was expired. So I said, no, I'm going to definitely bid for it. My bid was 2.72 lakhs, a meager sum of 2.72 lakhs. Unfortunately, there was another gentleman who had bid 2.85 lakhs, but his procedure of bidding, which was specified in the contract, was not correct. So his bid was cancelled, and my bid was the highest. So that's how I won that aircraft.
The oldest exhibit in the museum is a toy from the Indus Valley civilization that was made way back in 1500 BC.
I'm very sure that there's a lot more than what meets the eye when you look at all these automobiles here. Tell us how tedious is the restoration process, and is it just pure passion for automobiles, or is there also a sense of pride attached with bringing an old automobile back to life?
No, it's actually a fun process if you're passionate about things. We wanted whosoever comes here has a story of his own. The other thing with transportation is you get emotionally connected, as I mentioned earlier. My first car, my first scooter. So it's a very emotional kind of a thing. And there is something in transportation, no matter how many times you've taken a plane and flown, okay? Whenever an aircraft takes off or lands, we still marvel at that piece of engineering, that it's, taking off. Or if we see a vintage car on the road, automatically our heads turn around to see that.
And Tarun, who has managed to collect gems like the Chevrolet Phaeton 1932 and the Ford Deluxe Wagon 1946, finally revealed his top-guarded secret.
This is his top secret, okay? The top secret is I was single. I didn't get married, so whatever money I earned, I actually spent on my collection. I was able to pursue my hobby to the fullest without anybody, pointing out that they're spending too much of money or spending too much of time.
In an age where automobile enthusiasts identify themselves as petrol heads, and there's so much rapid technological innovation happening in the automobile space, how do you plan on maintaining the legacy of vintage medium in automobiles? And what do you think of the current scenario, current vintage scenario in India?
See, currently the vintage automobile market is facing a lot of stress, I should say, because of the NGT. You know, they have unilaterally banned all vehicles which are 15 years of age on the roads. So we are fighting that case. We've requested them to give us permission to drive our cars on Sundays or on public holidays. You know, at least the cars should be moving, they should keep moving. So that helps them, you know, help engines in good condition, the brakes in good condition and all that.
American novelist Candace Bushnell once famously said, "I love things that are old and glittery, that come with layers of glamour and past lives." After looking at all these wonderful machines here, I couldn't agree more with her on preserving our past.
Wow, well that actually did take me back in time.
And suddenly the good old Maruti 800 does not sound so ancient anymore.
Well, that's all that we had for you in this episode. For all the updated news regarding the automobile industry, do check out WION Pitstop on our social media platforms.
And this episode comes to you from the Bikers Cafe, who believe that run without a destination and you will finally see what freedom can be. With that, we sign off, and we all believe eat hard, love hard, play hard and ride hard.